Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to give you a quick look at how I set up my office for the school year. So right now you can see that my office is a complete mess. There's a box of books, there's some cleaning supplies and stuff on the floor. There's just stuff thrown all over my office. So I did not work this summer, so I had to completely empty out my office before I left so that the custodians could come in and clean the floors while I was gone. So this involved packing up all of my books, my binders, all of my personal stuff had to be boxed up and put away in one of the closets. So I got to school and I just pulled all of my stuff out of the closet and just kind of threw everything in the middle of the room so that I could get started. So I'm going to every once in a while just kind of give you a little information about what I'm doing, and I'll also maybe play some music in the background for you. So the first thing I'm doing is just setting up my bookshelf. I have binders for each grade level as well as some binders for volunteer hours and stuff that I do with the community college. And I'm also pulling out some textbooks. These are books that I kept from my graduate program. I do pull them out every once in a while for reference, so I'm really glad that I kept them. And then I also have some plastic bins that I put on my bookshelf to keep some of the various paperwork that flows through my office. And then later on, you will see me add my confidentiality sign and then some flowers and stuff to the top of the bookshelf. So after I get my bookshelf set up, I move over to the other side of the office to put together a storage ottoman that I ordered off of Amazon. So before I left for the summer, I decided to move my furniture around in my office. I wanted to go with a completely different setup. And I wanted to put some sort of bench or other type of seating along this wall next to my door. And I ended up choosing this storage ottoman. It's a collapsible ottoman and it's supposed to hold up to 600 pounds, I think. So I'm hoping I don't have any students come in and just goof off and end up breaking it. But I thought it would be a good way for me to store some of my items that I keep in my office. So I always try to keep some cases of water, as well as some like paper plates and cups and bowls and stuff like that, because I try to make my own lunches instead of having to order out or go to McDonald's across the street or anything like that. So once I got all of that stuff put up, I wanted to go ahead and get the wall ready to hang up the mirror that I bought. So I took down the old picture that was hanging up, and unfortunately, I did not have a tripod or anything with me, so some of the stuff is cut off and you can't really see it. But I removed the old command strips and cleaned down the wall so that I could hang up the new command strips because I wanted them to be, stuck up there for well over an hour before I actually hung up the mirror. So you'll see me just measuring the distance between the hooks on the mirror so that I could measure the wall and get everything set up in the right spots. So I decided to take the picture that had originally been hanging on the other wall and move it to this other side of my door. And then there was another picture that I wanted to move so that it was centered over the bookshelf. So I'm just doing the same thing on these two walls over here. I'm removing anything that was already there, cleaning off that portion of the wall so that I could make sure the command strips really stuck to it very well. So by this point, and I think I was only maybe an hour into my work, it was dying in my office. The heat was ridiculous. I tried plugging in a little desk fan that I had, and it just was not giving me any relief. Alright, so after I hung up the command strips and everything, I did some more work on the bookshelf. I added a lamp. It used to be on my desk, but this year I decided I was going to move it to the bookshelf because I bought a new lamp to put in the corner. This was a lamp that was given to me at my internship site. It's got like tiger stripes on it, which went with the school that I did my internship at. So it doesn't really match anything else in my office. So I think what I'm going to do is get some purple spray paint to match the vase that my flowers are in. That way I can kind of pull that lamp into the rest of my office. So now I'm moving over to my desk area. The first thing I'm going to do is just kind of clear everything off. This was definitely the worst spot to work with in my office just because when I first came in, I threw everything on my desk. So the first thing I do is I just, remove everything, and then I wanted to really wipe it down because after sitting all summer with no one in the office, it was very dusty. So once my desk is clean, I go ahead and start setting everything up. I wanted to clean everything before I set it up on the desk. So I put my computer up and then I had to reconnect everything. And I think at this point I realized I was missing some stuff. So I had to unlock my desk and pull out my extension cord, and I pulled out the keyboard, there's just all kinds of stuff I had stuck in my desk and locked up for the summer. I think at this point I got called out of my office for something. And then I came back to continue setting up my stuff. I had to hook up my computer and also pulled out my phone, got it wiped down. And I think this was when I realized that I was missing something, and I had to leave and go back to the storage room to find the little lift that I have for my phone so that I can slide stuff under it. So I spent some time, and I think I actually cut it out of the video, but I spent some time trying to hook up my phone before I realized that the cord I have was not long enough to feed it underneath the desk so that I wouldn't have the cords on top of the desk. So I ended up just leaving it alone and ordered a new cord. So I will have to set that up when I get back to school. So once I got all that set up, I went ahead and pulled out my rug and started working on this other section of the desk. This is just another desk that I pushed up against mine just to give myself some more workspace. So I keep a I don't even know what this thing is called. It's some sort of, um, I don't know. It's some sort of paper organizer. I keep my important papers in. It's got my school counseling license, a list of my homerooms that I'm responsible for, stuff like that. It's just a good thing to kind of look back at whenever I need to. And then I also pulled out my chair covers, which I ordered from Amazon. I wanted to, give my desk a more appealing look as opposed to the plain blue cushions that are on it. So now I'm going to pull out the lamp that I ordered over the summer and start putting it together. I suffer from chronic migraines, and the lighting in the school just does not help with that. So, for the most part, I try to keep my lights off and use lamps when I'm working. Or I have, two separate lights. One half of the room I can have on, and I can have the other half off. So, most of the time, I will only have one overhead light on, and then I'll utilize lamps for the rest of my lighting. So, this lamp was kind of a pain in the butt to put together. The first few steps were fine. Once I got to the part where I had to put the actual head of the lamp on, I had to try to feed the cord all the way through so that I could pull it and actually attach the top. So I struggled with that a little bit, which you'll see here in a second. So after I got the lamp put together and placed between the two desks, I decided to come over and work on my little bulletin board. I don't really use this for anything work related, so I decided to just kind of make it a collage of pictures of my children. So I put a piece of fabric along the back and then added some borders to it. I added some more recent pictures of my children. Actually, this was the first time that I had the chance to add pictures of my newest son. So I definitely wanted to make sure that I got his pictures up there and also some newer pictures of my toddler and my 8-year-old. So at this point, I was pretty much done with my office. I had already taken all of the trash out. I did that off camera because it was just a lot of me picking stuff up and taking it out of the door. So the last thing I wanted to do was my filing cabinet. So the right side of my filing cabinet was just the plain filing cabinet, and I wanted to cover that with contact paper the way the rest of my filing cabinet was, but I could not locate the same contact paper that I already had, so I had to remove all of the old contact paper and just recover the entire thing. So for the most part, the contact paper that I went with was similar to what I already had. The one that I already had like a grayish background, and the new one had a white background. So it was similar, but not similar enough that I could get away with just covering the one side with the new contact paper. So once I got all of the old contact paper down, I started applying the new contact paper. I just lined it up along the top ledge, just kind of underneath where the top part of the filing cabinet is, and then I just kind of smoothed it on my way down. I didn't worry about making it too perfect. There were a couple of air bubbles here and there, but for the most part they weren't noticeable, and I was in a hurry. At this point, I think I had been at the office for 3 hours. My husband had already called me once or twice because the baby was cranky, and when he's cranky, he typically only wants me. So I was trying to get done as fast as I could so I could get home to the kids. So once I got the sides done and everything kind of pushed in next to the drawers, I decided to go ahead and do the top. And I think this is when my husband FaceTimed me so I could see the baby. So I just went ahead and cut down a piece to fit the top and started smoothing it out. What am I doing now? Oh yeah, I'm cutting out a hole to go around the lock that's on my filing cabinet. Someday I should really upload one of these where you can hear how many times I stop and cuss and have to delete it and then start over. I absolutely despise doing voiceovers, and I try not to do them if I don't have to. So I was pretty much almost done with the filing cabinet at this point. You see me picking up some trash and stuff like that. And then I just needed to cut some strips to line the little piece between each drawer. And it was at this point that I had to really rush to finish. Our data manager called me to let me know that the custodians were kicking us out of the building because they wanted to close the building up and turn the alarms on and everything. So I was really rushing to finish this part. Eventually, I think I'll go in and remove the handles and maybe add some more contact paper over the actual drawers themselves. I don't know if I'll use the same contact paper or if I'll pull in a different color, like either the yellow or the purple to match the vase that I have. So now I'm showing you just the before again, so you can kind of see what things looked like when we started, and then the after. So overall, I'm pretty pleased with how my office turned out this year. I will probably collect some more knickknacks here and there throughout the school year. So thank you for tuning in and watching me set up my office for the school year. If you enjoyed this, please make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. I post new videos every Monday and Wednesday. Thank you and have a good night. Bye.